The front door slammed so hard the Christmas wreath jumped on its nail. Gladys Harper flinched in her recliner and pulled the Afghan tighter around her shoulders. 54 degrees in the house, and the furnace hadn't kicked on in 3 days. She could see her own breath. Footsteps stomped across the kitchen linoleum. Then her son Ronald's voice, loud enough for the neighbors to hear through the thin walls of Sycamore Circle. Another 12 grand gone in one weekend. Cheryl, 12? Mom's equity line is almost tapped out and you're buying $1,000 handbags like we're the damn Kardashians. Cheryl's reply was ice. Don't you dare put this on me. You're the one who said the riverboat was a sure thing. Besides, the old bat doesn't need the money. She eats oatmeal. She doesn't even notice. Gladys noticed. She noticed everything now. The way the pantry had shrunk to 2 boxes of off-brand oats and a jar of generic peanut butter, with the safety seal still on because she couldn't open it with her arthritic fingers. The way the thermostat had been locked inside a clear plastic box since February. The way her mail disappeared before she could reach the slot. She just hadn't known the numbers were this bad. She closed her eyes and pretended to doze while her son and daughter argued over her like she was already a corpse on the slab. That was Tuesday. On Wednesday, the mail lady noticed something, too. Tina Morales had delivered mail on Sycamore Circle for 19 years. She knew which dogs barked, which husbands were having affairs, and which widows still set the table for 2 out of habit. She had watched Gladys Harper shrink inside her cardigans month by month. Today, the usual stack of bills and grocery circulars was joined by something thick from a bank Tina didn't recognize. The return address read, Home Equity Department. Tina turned the envelope over twice, frowned, and tucked it on top instead of burying it in the middle the way Cheryl had started asking her to do. When Cheryl opened the door, in yoga pants and a face full of fillers, Tina smiled the same smile she gave everyone. Morning, Mrs. Harper. Package for Gladys needs a signature. Cheryl's eyes flicked to the envelope. She's napping. I'll sign. Federal regulation. Tina lied smoothly. Only the addressee. Cheryl's mouth tightened. Tina held the envelope just out of reach until Gladys's thin voice floated from the living room. I'm awake, dear. Gladys shuffled forward in slippers worn to the nub. When she saw the bank logo, something flickered across her face, maybe recognition, and then it was gone. She signed with a shaking hand. Tina watched Cheryl watch her mother-in-law tear the envelope open right there in the doorway. Inside was a single sheet. Current balance on Heath, $178,400 of $180,000 limit. Payment overdue. Gladys looked up. For the first time in months, her voice didn't shake. You took a loan out on my house. Cheryl snatched the paper. It's in all our names now. Mom, joint tenancy. Remember, you signed. Gladys did remember. Ronald had brought the papers on her birthday, said it would save on taxes when she passed. She'd signed because her dead husband's voice still whispered in her ear. Take care of the kids. Glad. She just hadn't known take care meant bleed her dry. Tina Morales saw the whole thing. She saw Gladys's face go white, saw Cheryl crumple the letter and hiss, this is grown-up business. Go sit down. And she saw Gladys do it because that's what widows in small Illinois towns did when their children spoke sharp. Tina delivered the rest of her route with her jaw clenched so tight it ached. That night, she sat at her own kitchen table, opened her laptop, and started searching property records. What she found made her sick. Title transferred, 2022. Home equity line opened. 2023 credit inquiries from 3 different casinos. A brand new 2025 BMW leased in Ronald and Cheryl. Harper's names. Monthly payment, $1,149. Tina had grown up 2 doors down from the Harpers. She'd eaten Gladys's oatmeal raisin cookies after every junior high basketball game. She still had the Afghan Gladys crocheted for her when her own mother died. She closed the laptop, picked up her phone, and called the one person she knew wouldn't look away. Kelly Harper. Gladys's granddaughter was 28, lived in St. Louis, and hadn't been home in 2 years, not since Cheryl accused her of upsetting Grandma by asking why the heat was off in April. Kelly answered on the 3rd ring. Tina, everything okay? No, Tina said. It's not. You need to come home tonight. Kelly arrived at 2:13 a.m., driving 90 the whole way. Tina met her at the door of the little bungalow on Sycamore Circle with a flashlight and a stack of printouts. They stood in Gladys's dark lit room while the old woman slept, upright in her recliner, a crocheted afghan pulled to her chin. Kelly's eyes filled with tears at how small her grandmother had become. Tina laid it all out in whispers: the loan, the car, the casino charges, the forged signature on the title transfer that looked nothing like Gladys's careful Catholic school cursive. Kelly's tears dried fast. "Wake her up," she said. "We're getting her out right now." They wrapped Gladys in 2 more blankets and walked her to Kelly's car like she was made of blown glass. Cheryl and Ronald never stirred, passed out on the couch with the TV still blaring QVC at Kelly's hotel across town. Gladys ate an entire cheeseburger and half a chocolate milkshake before falling asleep on a real bed for the first time in months. The next 3 months were war by paperwork. Kelly took leave from her job as a paralegal. Tina used vacation days to drive Gladys to doctors, banks, and the county recorder's office. They built the case like a cathedral, brick by brick. Hospital records, severe protein malnutrition, vitamin D deficiency, early hypothermia. Bank records, $178,400, withdrawn in chunks, $9,000 here, $12,000 there, always on weekends when the boats ran. Casino Players Club statements in Cheryl's name showing $400 Buffett comps, while Gladys lived on plain oatmeal, and the crown jewel, the notary journal, from the day the house was reached. The Notoria woman Tina went to high school with, Cheryl guiding Gladys's hand because Mom's arthritis was acting up. The notary had felt sick about it ever since. Kelly hired an elder law attorney named Marla Chen, who moved like a shark in a kiddie pool. Within 6 weeks, emergency guardianship granted to Kelly, HELOC frozen, house title reverted solely to Gladys, new will drafted, leaving Ronald exactly $1. Forensic accountant tracing every dime. The confrontation came on a gray Saturday in April. Ronald and Cheryl pulled into the driveway of the house they thought was still partly theirs and found a locksmith changing the locks, while Kelly stood on the porch with the sheriff's deputy. Cheryl started screaming the second she saw her mother-in-law sitting in a lawn chair, wrapped in a new quilt, eating a turkey sandwich like it was Christmas morning. "You can't do this. We have rights." "You have the right," Kelly said calmly, "to explain felony financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult to a judge." Marla filed the paperwork this morning. Ronald went pale. "Mom, tell them this is crazy." Gladys looked up for the first time in years, her voice carried across the yard without trembling. "You took my home, my heat, my food, and my dignity. You don't get to call me Mom anymore." The certified letters went out the following week. Demand for repayment, $178,400, plus interest and punitive damages. Notice of criminal referral to the Illinois Attorney General's Elder Abuse Unit. Copy of the new will and irrevocable trust naming Kelly sole beneficiary and the Central Illinois Agency on Aging as remainder. Cheryl's social media went dark. The BMW was repossessed in the grocery store parking lot. Half the town saw it. Ronald took a plea, 2 years probation, full restitution, permanent protective order. Cheryl fought it, lost, 18 months in state prison, $250,000 judgment that will follow her for life. The house on Sycamore Circle sold 6 months later. Gladys never went back inside. With the proceeds and the restitution checks, Kelly bought her grandmother a little 1-story brick house, 2 streets, overpaid in cash. Title, in a trust no one can ever touch again. Gladys gained 32 pounds. She started baking again. Every Thursday she teaches a free class at the senior center called Protect Your Nest Egg. What I learned the hard way. The waiting room is always full. Some nights, Gladys and Kelly sit on the new front porch drinking real coffee, none of that decaf nonsense, and watch kids ride bikes down the circle. Gladys still sets the table for 2 sometimes, but now it's for her and Kelly. And when the phone rings, it's never Ronald. Sometimes it's a trembling voice on the other end saying, "Mrs. Harper, I saw your interview on the news. I think it's happening to my mom too." Gladys smiles the way people do when they've walked through fire and came out the other side still swinging. "Tell me everything, honey," she says. "We're going to fix this. Because the greatest revenge isn't watching them fall. It's rising so high they can never reach you." Again on pulling every other grandmother up with you. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. There are thousands of Gladyses out there right now eating oatmeal in cold houses while someone they love steals tomorrow from them. Share this video. Talk to your parents. check on your neighbors. You might be the only person who notices before it's too late. Thank you for watching, and remember, you're never too old to fight back.